Could you use some help from another you in a parallel universe? This is a Drafthouse Diary for Tuesday, February 21st, 2023, when I went to the Alamo Drafthouse Cinema in Westminster, Colorado to see Everything Everywhere All at Once. I had seen this movie before. It was streaming on HBO, but I had a chance to see it on a big screen when Alamo brought it back for a few showings, probably in response to all of its award nominations. And I'm glad I did have a chance to see it on a big screen. There's parts of the cinematography, parts of the movie that play very well on a big screen. Both times I've seen this movie, I enjoyed it. But to be honest, I never really saw it as the be all and end all, the amazing, innovative work that some people seem to regard it as. A lot of the big ideas in the movie are ideas that have been used before. They're not really original. There's a lot of this movie that reminds me of the Warren Ellis comics, Planetary and Global Frequency, and things that remind me even of Roger Zelazny's Amber novels. And there's a lot out there that deals with the idea of parallel universes and different versions of you and contact or interaction among these. There's a lot you can do with this idea, and this movie takes those ideas and does some fun things with them. The idea of relatively mundane skills being super valuable when they are focused at the right place at the right time. That's a fun idea. And they show that with skills from singing to sign spinning. But really what this movie does is that within this big giant story about multiversal conflict and attempting to save all the universes from this powerful being who seems bent on destroying everything. Within that, they build this compact story about people and about their relationships and about their dreams. And that is what makes this movie interesting to me, what makes this movie powerful. And fortunately, they have some very good performances driving that. We've got Michelle Yeoh as our main character, and we get a chance to really see greater range and greater depth in her acting than I think we've seen before. Even though she's been getting a chance to show more of that in recent years, this movie is a terrific showcase for what she's capable of, in addition to allowing her to show a lot of her action and martial arts skills. And we also get Quan, who it's so fun to see him in this movie. So fun to see him come back to acting after so many years. And this is a particularly good role to see him come back in, because in this one role, we get to see him play the bumbling, comedic, put upon husband. We get to see him play the steely action hero with some really good action scenes. We get to see him play the heartthrob in the $10,000 suit and the perfectly poised cigarette. It shows such range, and it shows what he's capable of. And I hope this leads to so many more roles for him. And supporting them, we also have Stephanie Hsu in another major role as their daughter. And we see James Hong. He shows up in so much, but he always brings a smile to my face whenever James Hong shows up in something. And we have Jamie Lee Curtis in a supporting role that is just so weird, but she goes for it. She pulls out all the stops, which is what this role needs. So they definitely strengthen this story. But really, the story is about Michelle Yeoh's character and Ke Quan's character and Stephanie Hsu's character and the worlds that they have made for themselves. So I think the movie is worthwhile. I'm glad I had a chance to see it again. Glad I had a chance to see it on a big screen. I will say that occasionally it kind of goes off the rails. Sometimes maybe it's just a question of one's sense of humor, but there's a lot of humor in this movie, a lot of very absurdist humor. Too often they went for like just juvenile, like sex toy jokes, for example. Way too many sex toy jokes in this movie. And that's fine if they make sense in context and if they're funny. But in this movie, they just, every time they reached into that drawer, they just took me out of the movie. It was a detriment to the whole thing. But overall, it's like I say, it's still worth seeing. Other aspects of my trip to the Alamo. The pre-show for this movie was a custom pre-show for this feature, and it was really good. It was, they had some music videos that were directed by Daniels, that's Daniel Quan and Daniel Scheinert, who are the directors of this movie, who go under the professional name Daniels. They also had a long interview with the two of them about this movie and about their career and about movie making, and that was a lot of fun. I learned things from that, but I also got to enjoy their weird sense of humor. And they had a long, detailed interview, autobiographical interview with Michelle Yeoh about her career and how it started, going from being a beauty queen to studying dance in the UK to coming to Hong Kong, where she really didn't know anyone and didn't know the language, and began her career there, and how she moved into action and martial arts roles using her dance training. I really want to know more about her biography after the helping of information that I got in this pre-roll. That was terrific. They also had a shorter interview with Quan about his return to acting, about his hopes for the future, in the kinds of roles that he'd like to see. And it was great to see this little interview with him as a kid on the set of Goonies, talking about how much he loved acting, but also how much he wanted to get into directing and stunt directing. So it's fun to see the way his career has encompassed so much of what he said he wanted to do way back then. Also, there were kind of micro documentaries throughout the pre-show about Asian American cinema and Asian influence and contributions to American cinema, including some frank things about the less than pleasant parts of that. Things like yellow face in old movies, and about whitewashing, still going on today in a lot of movie roles. So that was interesting. It was a good counterbalance to a lot of the other things that we saw in this pre-show. One of the better pre-shows in general that I've seen at the Alamo. The food. I had the carnivore pizza. I hadn't had that before, and I had avoided it because mushrooms were one of the ingredients, and I'm not the biggest fan of mushrooms. But I thought, well, I haven't tried it before. I should give it a try. There's a lot of other things on this pizza, so I can just deal with the mushrooms. Turned out there were a lot of mushrooms on this pizza, giant pieces of mushrooms. So I dealt with that. It also had olives, but they were Kalamata olives, not the black olives I'm accustomed to having on pizza, which gave it a very sharp taste. In general, I can't say I really enjoyed this Omnivore pizza. I'm probably not going to get it again. If you like mushrooms and Kalamata olives, maybe it's the thing for you. The theater was terrific. It was comfortable. I didn't have a whole lot of interaction with the staff, but they were efficient and friendly. And you know, I've got to say, I think I've said in previous Drafthouse Diaries that the Aspen Grove Alamo in Littleton, closest one to my home, is my favorite Alamo in the area. I don't think I can say that anymore. I really think that the Westminster Alamo is my favorite. It's the newest Alamo in the area. It's got a newer kind of reclining seat that's much more comfortable than any of the others. It's always very, very clean, very well maintained, really good staff. The exterior of the theater has a kind of a cool, old-fashioned movie theater vibe with its signage and lots of lights. So I'm still going to go to Sloan's Lake and to Aspen Grove, no question about it. But if I had to say which one I just enjoy as a place the most, it's probably that Westminster Alamo. But whichever theaters I go to, I will be sure to bring you more Drafthouse Diary reviews. In the meantime, enjoy your movies, and when you do, stay till the end of the credits.